What is up, guys, and welcome back to Adventure Archaeology. Today we're going to be doing some exploring at a place called Red Mountain. I'll explain to y'all why this area is called Red Mountain and why it's so historical for Alabama. Let's get right to it. Now, for those of you that are wondering, Red Mountain is considered an archaeological site, and as a matter of fact, it is the largest industrial archaeological site in the state and consists of around 1,200 acres. So no artifacts can be removed from this particular area. Anything that you see could be donated, like that piece of glass right there, if you found something worthwhile. The history here is too awesome not to share with y'all, and at least give y'all a tour and show you a couple of these mine openings, which are pretty fantastic. I guess to tell this story correctly, we need to go all the way back to around 1819. And in 1819, Alabama was actually just trying to start to become a state. So they were trying to achieve statehood. But during that same time, native hunters and travelers encountered a super fine dust. And that dust would stain anything that it touched red. Now, you may be wondering, well, what was that dust? Well, with a little bit of time, people started to figure out that that red dust was actually hematite. And hematite is a part of iron ore. So this was actually the start of the Industrial Revolution for Birmingham, Alabama, which is also known as Steel City. So these mines were operated all the way up into the 1960s when they were finally shut down. And then these mines sat basically vacant and unexplored for probably around 50 years before people started to go back inside of them and take relics out, destroy the area, party, come out here with four-wheel drives, you name it, they did it. And eventually the city and the state, they were smart enough to figure out that they needed to turn this area into a protected park. Now if you look straight ahead, this was an original road for this mine that was used long ago. Been here for probably well over 100 years. The mines popped up all over this mountain, which is what I've been looking at. I haven't just been looking at woods to the right as we've been walking. I know the hedge bushes right here are kind of making it hard to see, but that's an entire mountain back there that is loaded with different mines and artifacts. Some of these mines have been explored by one of my friends, Josh, who runs the Underground Birmingham Facebook page and YouTube channel, and they've done a really good job of documenting everything that they found and even uncovering some of these mine shafts openings that were filled in to be able to go in and recover some of the relics. I'm hoping one day to go out with him and actually get to take a look at some of these older mines on the inside, because he's got some fantastic locations. You can kind of start to see the hill go up right here. In just a second though, we're going to show you an actual shaft, which is really cool. Check out the size of this cable right here, guys. That would have been like a dragline cable, and these are usually all over mine sites, and they were used to pull buckets or carts or just anything that they needed moved with large winch systems. And these cables are ran all over this place, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I decided that it would be good to throw in a couple of mini adventures this month. And this is one of the places that I've been wanting to show y'all for quite some time. We're actually coming up on getting to a really interesting part of the mining site here that has, as mentioned, the shafts on it, as well as the large building that was used to hold the winch systems. So it's still standing, and it is actually one of the newer mines. It's not one of the ones from the mid 1800s, but it's still pretty cool to look at. You can see that iron cable is just staying steady with us as we walk down this road, which is pretty cool to think. I mean, that's a massive winch to be able to pull that cable for that full length. It's pretty up here. We might see some deer. We'll have to see. You can see the concrete right here. This concrete probably housed a gate at one time to keep people out of the mining area. I'm not really sure what they use these sediment type ponds for, but I've noticed in almost all mining towns that we've explored that there's at least a few sediment ponds. And if you know what those are for, leave a comment below, because I'm not for sure. You can start to see the remnants of buildings as we get closer right here. You can see iron, you can see the rock stacked on top of each other, and actually concrete right here. This particular spot that we're at right now was actually mined in the 1880s, and then again in the 1950s. You can still see a tire there from probably that 1950s mine operation. Now check that out. How cool is that? So this would have been like one of the houses that would have had the winches mounted to it. This would have had cables strung from one side all the way to the other. And of course it's still standing, solid concrete. That will be there long after we're gone, that's for sure. Right here is where the winches would have sat. And we're gonna get up here. Of course they've got it fenced off. They have to worry about liability issues with this being an archaeological site, but you can actually still see the winch pulleys on the inside. I'm going to try to get around on the other side where you can see a little bit better, or up on that bank. But it's pretty cool that that structure is still standing after all of these years. And it's a testament to how Birmingham was actually put here. There we go. Y'all can see right there. That's how big those cable winches were. They were massive. I mean, that is huge. But the actual mines were actually up here where we're headed now. We're gonna make our way up the hill and show you the opening to what these guys worked in every single day. Something notable to mention actually is that iron ore was actually discovered well before 1819 in this area by Native Americans, primarily the Creeks. The Creeks actually used this to dye their pottery. So that's just kind of an interesting fact. All right, we're getting ever so closer. You can see right up there that big indention in the hill. That would have probably been a shaft at some point. But we're gonna get to one that's actually opened up here that y'all can actually look in and see. And if I remember correctly, it actually has a date on it, which is even cooler. If you take a look at this right here, you can see what appears to be two blowers. And this would have been, at least I'm fairly confident, to put air into the mine shafts for the miners. So that's kind of interesting. You can see this has been here for a good while. And I've made a fairly long hike up the hill, so I'm out of breath. But I'm not 100% positive. There's nothing around here to tell me exactly what it is, but I'm pretty sure that these are blowers that you see on either side of this, which is fantastic because the mine is actually right there. So let's go over here and take a look at this mine. And there would have been actually a railroad car system that would have went right through the center of this mountain. So this would have all been considered a slope mine, and a cart would have came right down through here and right down into here. And you can see right there, 1880 to 1932. So they worked out of this mine for 52 years. And of course, they've got it marked off or blocked off, and you can't blame them for that due to liability issues. But take a look at that. It is straight down as far as you can see. It's pretty cool and pretty eerie to think that thousands and thousands of people have came through here through the years, and it goes way down there. Well guys, I know it was a short video, short adventure, but I wanted to give you all a little bit of history and show you all this particular area. If y'all want me to come back and look at more of these mines in this particular spot here at Red Mountain, let me know. I could definitely do that. In either case, hope you enjoyed the video, and we will see you guys in the next adventure.